So children, very good afternoon, everyone. I hope that your belly is full, your stomach is full, you had enough and more food. All the chickens are, all the chickens are crowing there and you're happy in the class, right? So let us begin our session for today. We were talking about we have completed regular and irregular verb in the few classes, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
we have completed the regular irregular verbs in the last few classes, and now we are talking about the main and auxiliary verbs here. Main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Now you listen, I request everybody to mute. As I have told you, the principal. Okay, the principal, he is the head of the institution, and we teachers are always listening whatever instruction. If he's giving us an instruction, we are here to obey what he gives, because he is one of the important personality, supreme head of our school, isn't it? So like the same, we can label a main verb in the name of principal verb, because principal verbs are very important verbs which plays the role of important verb in a sentence, and it is helping us to identify the tense. That is why we are labeling a main verb is equal to principal verb or one of the important verb. As you all know, we are using this principal verb or a main verb to show the exact time of action. Clear? To get the time of action, whether the sentence is in present or it is in past, or it is talking about the future, or it is expressing an action which is actually going to happen in future, such things. By looking at the finite verb, by looking at the main verb, we'll be able to identify the time of action, so that it is called a main verb, principal verb, one of the important verb in English grammar. Clear? And I have told you a main verb can stand alone. I repeat, a main verb can stand alone. Like,
yes,
he speaks English very well, right? I said in the last class,
yes,
he speaks English very well. Here, the finite verb is speaks, and it shows that the sentence is an example for simple present tense. Okay, so speaks, wait a minute, speaks. The verb speak shows the exact time of action, and you know this is actually given in simple present tense. Okay, at the same time, and this is the finite verb, as Anandisha Pai asked me last class, ma'am. I have a little confusion regarding the finite verb. This is what the last question raised by Anandesha Pai, and I explained that by looking at an auxiliary verb and main verb present in a sentence, we'll be able to identify the tense form. Such verbs are called finite verbs, and we'll be learning in the next, it is coming under the next topic. Okay, and also I have said main verb can stand alone, like he speaks English, where he speaks, it's independent. Okay, it shows the exact time of action. It is in simple present tense. Okay, this is the finite verb, and this is the important verb or the principal verb or main verb over here. At the same time, this main verb can also be attached with an auxiliary verb to get a complete meaning. Okay, to show the time of action, to get the exact time of action, we need to attach some of the main verbs along with the auxiliary verb. As you all know, there are 4 forms of a verb, isn't it? We have present form, we have past form, we have past participle form, we have even present participle form. All these are verb forms. Okay, present and past, it is very easy to identify, right? Present and past. Yes, Rusin?
Bhuvana is in waiting room. Can you please admit her?
Admitted. Everyone is there in now. Okay, in the meeting now. So children, listen. So we have 4 forms of verb. As I have told you earlier, we have present form of the verb, past form of the verb, past participle form, and present participle form of the verb. Isn't it? Yes or no? Yes or no, children? Yes. So please listen here. And I have told you, for simple present tense or the base form, and even for the past form, it is easy for us to identify the tense form. But the past participle form of the verb and present participle form of the verbs are complete only after attaching with an auxiliary verb, right? Then only we'll get a clear idea whether the sentence is in past, present, or it can be used in future, isn't it? So a main verb can also be attached with an auxiliary verb to get a complete meaning. Such verbs are also called main verbs in English grammar. Am I clear? So I am writing, will go. Okay, I am writing, will go, will be running. All these are examples for finite verb, at the same time main verb, because a main verb can stand alone in some cases. It also can be attached with an auxiliary verb to get a complete meaning. This is what we discussed in the last class, isn't it? Regarding the main verb, if you have any doubt, you can raise it now. No. Okay, so let us move on to the next one.
Ma'am, how to
Auxiliary verb.
identify a main verb?
Angelina Juice.
It is easy, Brightlin Lijo. If I give you a sentence, he ran a race. Brightlin ran a race. Could you please pick out the finite verb? Sorry, could you please pick out the main verb used here?
Ran.
Yes. Why you said it is a main verb? So because by looking at the action word ran, you can predict the tense form, isn't it? What is the tense? He ran a race. Can you tell me the tense of the sentence? He ran a race. So you said ran. So ran is which form of the verb?
Past.
It is past form, right? It is
Past.
used in simple past form. See, so ran is the main verb. Suppose if the sentence is she is reading a poem. If my sentence, the same question to Brightlin Lijo. Brightlin, if the question is she is reading a poem. Okay, here, could you please identify the main verb? If the question is to identify
Ma'am,
the main verb,
reading.
only reading is reading complete in form. So the word, by looking at the word reading, are you able to identify the tense?
No.
It is not. It is not possible because reading can be used with all the continuous forms, right? In present, past, even in future. But if you pick out or if you add the auxiliary verb is reading, there is reading is complete in form and that is a main verb there. Clear? Brightly, Lijo?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So let us go into the next one. I think we had an enough discussion about this main verbs in the last class. So today, my intention is to point only the auxiliary verbs. Okay, auxiliary verbs. Are you familiar with the word auxiliaries?
Ma'am,
Yes.
helping verbs.
Very much, right? Auxiliaries. We have two auxiliary verbs. Before talking about the two different auxiliary verbs, let us talk about the first one or the definition of an auxiliary verb. Okay, as you all know, auxiliary verbs are helping verbs, right? Another name for the auxiliary verb, if a main verb is called a principal verb, there is another name for an auxiliary verb, isn't it? The other name for the auxiliary verb is helping verbs. Listen here, everyone. It is also known as helping verbs. How it helps?
It helping the main
A few minutes before, Brightlin Lijo asked me, okay, he asked me a question. Ma'am, how can I identify the main verb? So I just said a sentence. I said a sentence, he ran a race. All of a sudden, Brightlin said, ma'am, ran is the verb. Again, I gave another sentence, he is reading a poem. So there, Brightlin Lijo, he had taken or he had chosen only the word reading. Okay, so this reading is incomplete in form. To help the main verb reading, we can also attach a word. Okay, that word makes the sentence complete in time. Okay, it shows whether the sentence is present, whether it is past, whether it is future, whether it is used in the form of singular or plural, isn't it? She is reading a poem, is reading. So the auxiliary verb or the helping verb helps main verb read to get a complete meaning, to show the exact time of action. The sentence is an example for present continuous. Clear? If we remove reading from the sentence is incomplete because we can't say the time of action, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, of course.
Yes or no? Yeah, of course, we can't say. If you say, see, wait. The sentence, if the sentence is like this, he reading book. At what time it happens?
It's not. It's
No idea. Not in present, not in past, not in future.
was reading book. It is not grammatically correct.
Ma'am, it is incomplete sentence.
It will be, he is reading, he was reading, he will be. It is not the
Correct, because all these words are called helping verbs, which helps the present participle form of the verb to get a complete meaning when it is used for forming a tense, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The verb form which helps the main verb to show the exact time of actions are coming under the verb form called auxiliary verbs. So auxiliary verbs helps the main verb. Like if it is added with the present participle, we'll get a tense form. If it is used for adding or if it is added along with the past participle also, we'll get a tense form, right? Perfect forms will be, now if we add have with, have with chosen, I have chosen, right? Have chosen shows your sentence is an example for present perfect, isn't it? Isn't it? And if I use the word like will be written. Okay, will be written, it comes only in passive forms. Okay, will be writing. Will be writing. The word will be writing. It shows it as an example for future because the auxiliary verb will shows that it is going to happen in future. Will be writing, right? So these kind of verbs are coming under the auxiliary verbs. And my dear little ones, these auxiliary verbs are divided into two. Okay, auxiliary verbs are divided into two. The first one is called primary auxiliary verb. The second one is called secondary auxiliary verb. Okay, okay. The first one is called primary auxiliary verb. Second one is called okay. Second one is called the secondary auxiliary verb. Let us talk about primary auxiliary verbs today. Okay, let me share the screen for you, everyone.
Ma'am, so what about modal auxiliary?
Excuse me, ma'am.
I am not talking about modal auxiliary verbs now. We are talking about only primary auxiliary verbs now. Okay, let me
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes, Tania.
Ma'am, in that you told a sentence, he is singing. In that is the auxiliary verb.
Let us see whether is an auxiliary verb or main verb over there. Okay, let us see. I'm going to teach you the primary auxiliary verbs first. Then you have to give me the right answer whether is an auxiliary verb or a main verb there. Okay,
Ma'am,
let
I
us
have
come
doubt.
back to the topic. Wait, Tania, I'll give you a chance to respond. Okay, you will be giving me the answer. Okay, Tania. So let us share, or let me share the screen for you children. The word is auxiliary verb. Okay, the word is auxiliary verb. Look at here. It is also known as helping verb. And a verb used in forming the tenses. That is why I said, if Tanya, if is reading, okay, is reading alone. If I have written reading alone here, you won't get the exact time of action. You know, tense means time, no? Only after adding is, you can guess that, okay, this sentence is an example for present continuous tense. Tanya, are you getting?
Ma'am, in he is reading. In the is only the auxiliary verb.
It's not clear, Tanya. Could you please repeat the question?
Ma'am, she is reading. Is only the auxiliary verb.
The question, that is the problem. I know that there will be a little you maybe get confused because it is depending upon the question. Okay, if the question is asked for you to pick out the main verb, you have to point out is reading is the main verb. Okay, suppose if the question, if in the question paper, if the question is to pick out only the auxiliary verb, then which word you will prefer from there? Is reading or reading? Which word?
Is reading.
Is reading is an auxiliary verb, Tania.
Is.
Is. If the question is to pick out auxiliary verb from the following sentence, then you have to mention only is. Because is the helping verb, which helps the main verb reading to complete the time of action, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, at the same time, listen here, at the same time, if we talk about main verbs, if the question is pick out the main verb from the sentence, she is writing a poem. So what is the main verb here? Which word? Which one is the main verb here? Is writing. Then only the sentence is complete, right? Main verb, it has to show or it must show the tense form. Auxiliary verb, it has a function to help the main verb to form the tenses. So the answer, it is depending upon the question how it is asked. Only auxiliary verb means you can write only is. If it is main verb means that you have to prefer is reading. Clear? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Getting confused a bit?
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes, raise it. Right, Lynn.
Ma'am, if ma'am, if there is a sentence, she will be writing, so the auxiliary verb will be.
Will be. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, because it helps. It helps the main verb.
Ma'am,
Will
so
plus
if
be.
the
Will plus be is helping the main verb writing to get a complete tense form, isn't it? Subject plus will, shall plus be plus present participle form. So will and be are the auxiliary verb used there.
ma'am, so if there was a question like pick out the main verb. So will be writing will be the main verb.
Correct. Your answer is absolutely 100% correct. Will be
Okay,
writing is the main verb. Clear now?
Ma'am, if it's
Yes,
asking
ma'am.
to pick out the auxiliary verb, we have to write the is, am like that words. If it's
Yes.
asking the main verb,
Yes. If the question,
is
it is very
writing,
simple,
is
logical. If the question is to pick out only auxiliary verb, means you have to pick out only the auxiliary verbs. We are going to talk about the auxiliary verb afterwards. I'll give you some exercises for practicing. Okay. Let me share. Let me share the screen, children. So we are talking about the auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs are usually accompany a main verb. I have told you, as Tanya asked me a question, is reading. So here reading is a main verb and is an auxiliary verb. Okay. So this main verb is complete only after attaching it with is the auxiliary verb. Suppose in the question paper, to pick out the auxiliary verb, then you can label only is. If in the question paper, the question is to pick out the main verb, you have to write is reading, because is reading shows the time of action. Clear? So let us talk about the two types of auxiliary verbs. Children, we have primary auxiliary verbs and secondary auxiliary verbs. As I have told you, we have two auxiliary verbs, two types of auxiliary verbs. First one, primary auxiliary verbs and secondary auxiliary verbs. Okay, you are very familiar with this. Okay, I request everybody to mute. Amrose, listen here. Amrose, you are looking left and right. You're not keeping the headset.
Two types.
Okay, so auxiliary. Tanya, mute your device. So primary auxiliary.
Ma'am, in the sentence, I had completed my work. There's no need of had, right? It can be I completed my work.
If the question is given in past perfect, okay, had should be used, right? Otherwise, it is in simple past tense, completed. So there you can say that completed is the main verb. If the question is I had completed, there had as an auxiliary verb and completed is the main verb, and had as auxiliary verb which helps the main verb completed to form a perfect form. Past perfect form, right? So if the question is to pick out the auxiliary verb, then you can prefer only had. If the question is to pick out the main verb, you have to choose had plus completed. Clear? If had is not there, means there also I completed my work. Okay, I completed, it's over, completed. That is also a simple past form of a verb, right? I completed my work is not even given. I have completed is the right. If it is just over, I have completed. That is the right usage. Okay, so leave it. So let us talk about now. Everyone, listen here. We are going to talk about the
completed.
See, here I am facing a little audio problem. So if you are not keeping your mic proper, I won't be able to hear what you're saying. So I request everybody to mute your audio. Okay, I'll give you the time for clearing your doubts. Okay, so primary auxiliary verb and secondary auxiliary verb. So let us talk about the primary auxiliary verb. It is further divided into three forms: be, do, and have. Okay, be base form, do base form, have base form. Be, do, have. Okay, am, is, are, was, were are coming under the be forms. Do, does, did coming under the do forms. Have, has, had coming under the have forms. So all these words are called primary auxiliary verb. Okay, am, is, are, was, were. So let us talk about the be form in particular. Okay, this is a flow chart, or this is a chart of only the be forms. Children, please listen here. Primary auxiliary verb be forms. Look at the first one here. Be form. Be forms, if we divide it into two, if we separate it into present tense and past tense form, am is coming under the present tense singular. Present tense singular. Okay, am and is present tense singular in form, are present tense plural in form. Okay, was or were, was singular in form, were plural in form under past tense. Now let us talk do forms. Do form, plural. Do is plural, present tense. Thus is singular, present, singular in form. Okay, instead of singular and plural, if it is past tense, we can use only did. Did is the past tense of do and does. Okay, next one, have forms. Okay, have is plural. Has
You
is
did not write that did is a singular or plural.
then had is the past form of have and has. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so be forms. Pavitra, please tell me what are the primary auxiliary verb be forms. Pavitra, are you here in the class?
Ma'am, I'm there, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Pavitra, please tell me be forms in English grammar. Primary auxiliary verb be forms.
Ma'am, am is are, was were.
Okay, so present tense form of be.
Present. Yes, ma'am.
Present tense form of be.
Am is are.
Okay, and which is singular and which is plural, Pavitra?
Am is singular.
Hmm.
Are is plural.
Okay, it's past form.
Past form was and were.
Okay, singular.
Was is singular. Were is plural.
Okay, Atvika, could you please tell me the two forms used in English? Atvika, could you please tell me the two forms used in English? Primary auxiliary verb, do forms.
Do, does, did.
Very good. Singular and, sorry, present tense.
Do and does,
Okay, singular.
did.
Singular, present tense singular. Do form, present tense singular.
Do is singular.
No.
Sorry, ma'am, does.
Ah, very good. Does is singular present. And what about do?
It's plural.
Plural. Excellent. Okay, now the past form of do form. Primary auxiliary do, past form.
Did.
Excellent. Okay, now Agne, give me the have forms.
Have forms are have, has, and had.
Okay, and under present tense?
Have
Primary,
and had.
okay, my question, listen to my question. Primary auxiliary verb, present forms of have.
Have and has.
Which one is singular? Which one is plural?
Has is singular.
Hmm.
Have is plural.
Excellent. And what about its past form?
Had.
Okay, I have a question to Racine. Racine, no, we have primary and secondary auxiliary verbs, right? Why there are two categories? You learned last year. Could you please tell me, Racine, why I have labeled this be, to, and have form under the primary auxiliary verb? Why there are two separation? Why it is separated? Why it is called a primary auxiliary verb? Chinmay? There is a special name, primary. Okay? Primary. Why it is called primary auxiliary verbs? Why? What is special with this do, be, and have forms? Why it is coming under the primary auxiliary verb? He's thinking something.
It shows what they are doing.
It is used. It is
It's
used.
used to show what they are doing.
Even modal auxiliary verbs are also used, right? Get out. Instead of that, you may go out. Now, right? So I can use secondary auxiliary verb also for expressing my feelings. But why this primary auxiliary verbs are called primary?
Used.
No. This question, Chinmay, if you are not able to answer, I'm going to Adinath Nair. Adi, can you tell me why it is called a primary auxiliary verb? I want an answer. Just have a guesswork.
Ma'am, because of the different types.
That is not an answer. Why it is different? That's my question. Okay, Shreya, can you please help me to find an answer for this question?
Ma'am, it can be also used as main verb.
Excellent. Absolutely correct. Okay, because a primary auxiliary verb, if the main verb is absent in a sentence, this main verb's role, or this is actually playing a role of a main verb in a sentence. Okay, if the main verb is absent in a sentence, this primary auxiliary verb can also act like a main verb. She is my best friend. If my question, she is my best friend. Here, which word shows the tense form, children? She is my best friend. So which word shows the tense form? Is. You said it. So children, is. The word is shows that your sentence is written in simple present tense, right? So is a primary auxiliary verb, you said, but here the main verb is absent. So is showing or helping us to identify the tense. So is can also be used as a main verb to show the tense form in absence of a main verb in a sentence, right? Such verbs are called primary auxiliary verbs in English grammar. Am I clear? Okay. Suppose if the sentence, I had my food. Okay. I had my food. My stomach is full. I had. Had is actually, it is coming under the primary auxiliary verb have forms, but still it is the past tense form of have and has. But still, in the sentence, I had my food, it shows that the had is used like a main verb, which help us to identify the tense form. Am I correct?
Mama,
Sure. Absolutely, break it and crack it.
So, ma'am, in the you have told like do is a plural form. So in the sentence, I will do my work. So I is a
Correct
singular.
question. Good question, Angelina. The same question. I can like a counter attack. I'm giving you a question. Okay. I have completed my work. Have is actually coming under. Have is actually coming under the plural verb, right? Yes or no? So, but I am using have with I. So this is called, and also just look at here. I cannot use is with I. I have to prefer am with I. So I is always the first person pronoun. I is an exceptional case in English grammar. Along with I, if it is continuous tense, you can use am. I am. I is a wrong answer. You cannot use it. Is wrong in use. Okay. So I am exceptional case. I cannot use is though the person is only one. Okay, again the second one, if the subject is I cannot prefer has. Wrong usage. I have to prefer only have, though the first person pronoun I is singular in form, right? Only one person, right? Again the same question. I do. See, whenever you write I as a subject, you're using a main verb in the form of get. I get up early in the morning. I wake up early in the morning. Why you're not using I gets up? As per the rule, English grammar says, if the subject is singular, we have to prefer a singular verb. So he speaks English very well. He is singular, speaks singular verb. But it is not possible with subject I. Okay, if you're starting your sentence with subject I, remember you need to use only one word. That is get up, plural form of the verb. So do is plural form. We can use it with only I. Clear? Do cannot be used with he, she, it.
For I, we should only use the plural forms of the words.
Sure, why not? Only the base forms of the verb. Okay, I do play cricket. I do play cricket. Okay, I cannot say that I does play. That is wrong. But I cannot use do with he, she, it. I have to use does.
Yes, ma'am.
He does his work. Am I clear, Angelina?
Yes, ma'am. I speak English. Is it a right usage or a wrong?
Could you please repeat the sentence? It was not clear for me here.
I speak English.
So you said a wrong sentence, right? You used the word I speaks. I speaks. It's wrong. If it is he speaks, that is correct. With I, you can use only speak. I speak English. I speak English. Okay. So hereafter, I get up. I cannot use I gets up. I get up 6 o'clock every day. It's a habit. Every day I'm just repeating it, right? Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That is my plan. It is a habitual action, right? I get up at 6 o'clock every day. Okay, every day it is happening. So along with I have used to get up. I cannot use gets up. Clear?
Ma'am, I have the same doubt. Ma'am, he will do his he will do his work Do is a present auxiliary verb, right? So how can it be with the future?
No, that is wrong. That is wrong. Is do used in the form of an auxiliary verb there? It is a primary auxiliary verb. It has a function of a main verb. Okay, I will do. That do is not an auxiliary verb. It is showing an action. I will do my work now. Okay, I will do my work. That shows that that action is going to taken place by me after this moment or after some time in future. Will do. And remember, if you are using will or shall like modal auxiliary verb, it is a must that you can use only the base form of the verb. So you cannot write I will does or he will does. Wrong, because will is there. Will is a modal auxiliary. See, modalities are the word. I'll talk about this modal auxiliary verbs in the after a few minutes. Okay, let us come back to the primary auxiliary. Otherwise, we'll deviate from the topic. Okay, let us come back. Everybody, please come back to the primary auxiliary verbs. Okay, so let us talk only about primary auxiliary verbs, children. Primary auxiliary verbs are three. It's subdivided into three. The first one is be form, second one is do form, and the third one is have form. Clear? It is not have, it is have. See, my teeth actually on the lower lip of my lower lip. Okay, position have. I love you. It is not I love you. It is I love you. Okay, I love you and I have. Okay, all these words must be practiced. Okay, it is not have, it is have. Isha, where is Isha Binoy?
Yes, ma'am.
Pronounce the word love. Love.
Love.
American English, right?
Yeah.
We are poor Indians suffering a lot over here. Okay, so children, we have a neutralized slang. See, colloquially, or when we are coming to, if we go to China, you can hear a different English from there. Okay, if you watch Chinese movies, fight movies and all, you can find the variation, dialectical variation or language fluctuations there. Like, to understand, to make it clear, we have just neutralized the words. Okay, language is just neutralized. So she is speaking, Isha Binoy is speaking a pakka or a proper American slang English. And we poor Indians are following British English and we are trying our level best to imitate them. But we are not native speakers. We cannot achieve the maximum level, but we are trying and trying to reach up to the level, right? So try maxima. It is not have, it is have. Clear? Clear? Learn it from Pravina ma'am. Yes, proceed.
Primary auxiliary verb. There are three types of form: be form, do form, and have form. If a question came, find out the primary auxiliary verb from the sentence in given. She is doing her work. So she doing is the primary auxiliary verb.
No. Is only the primary auxiliary verb. Doing is the main verb. Do, did, done. All these are the main verb. Okay. Okay, to get a complete meaning, to give a complete meaning for this verb, we are using this auxiliary verb like is, primary auxiliary is. So here the primary auxiliary verb be form is only used, right? I know, I can understand your problem because you are confused with the doing. Do. The same sentence you try to change. Okay, use another verb instead of doing. Then the confusion will be completely solved. Okay, how it is possible?
Yeah.
She is playing cricket with Shreya, Suraj and team. She is playing. Who is playing? I can tell you, Vaikari Esram is playing cricket with Shreya, Suraj and her team. Okay, here find out the auxiliary verb, especially the primary auxiliary verb in use. Definitely you can pick only is. You won't pick out the word called playing, right? Because by rule, Tanya, the problem is actually you're not thorough with the tense rules. Okay, once you're thorough with the tense rules learned last year, you can understand because a present continuous tense is formed. Okay, it is formed after a subject. You have to use the am, is, are in the present, was, were in the past, will be in the future, plus present participle form of the verb. So present participles are the main verbs used. Along with these main verbs, to show the time of action, we should add be form, am, is, are in the present, was, were in the past, and will be in future. Clear? Am I clear? So if Tanya asks me, ma'am, he will be doing his work. So there will be can be labeled as an auxiliary verb, whereas doing is a main verb. If the question is to identify the main verb, you have to prefer will be doing as your main verb. Clear? Am I
Okay,
clear?
ma'am.
So
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
my time. It is time to end my class. So I'm going to end my class by here. Thank you so
Ma'am.
much. We'll be completing this topic in the next class. Okay, bye.
Okay, ma'am.
The next teacher is already in waiting
Ma'am.
room. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.